Not sure where the market goes? Still wanting to earn if it's going up, if it's going down, if it's going sideways, without much of a risk, without you doing anything? Sounds to be good to be true? Well, I may have found something for you. Introducing the CoinM hedging bot on Pionex. So in this video we're going to learn about how does this work, what the risks are, and then we are going to see how we set one up. Alright, for some reasons we are currently in the XRP, so we take the XRP CoinM perpetual. So the hedging bot is basically a 1x, so 1 leverage CoinM short perpetual bot that is grid bot that is earning in every direction. How is it earning in every direction? Well, you start the bot initially with the coin, so in this case XRP, and if the price drops, you will get more coin, and if the price rises, your coin will be sold off and you increase your USDT value. In the meantime, if it's ranging, you will collect always the arbitrage, so the difference between selling and buying, as well as if the funding rate is positive, which is most of the time it is, you will also collect the funding rate. So if you look into the documentation about the tutorial better, about this grid, you can see basically they split it in two scenarios. The first one is the bearish scenario, so you earn crypto. So you can see here they started the BTC CoinM futures grid. They had like a starting price of 105,932. They are now basically 1,000 down, and they had a profit of 0.45%. It's running 5 days and it made a bit of grid, and you can see the analyzed returns are 5% and 28%. So let's continue first with the example, and the other way around. Okay, we started with 103,000 and now are up to 105,000, and now we're up in $15 in profits on the USDT side. So you can see here I highlighted basically where we're clicking. You can either display it as the coin or as the USDT value, and depending on what direction is, one will be negative and the other one will be positive. So I currently have two running. I hoped to show you both directions, but they are currently apparently both about their starting price. So you can see here, this is my latest one. I basically just, at the point of time, I bought Ethereum, 0.1 Ethereum for 4,270 roughly, and then I entered this bot. And you can see now we are up. We are currently at 4,301. So if it would be a normal short position, we would be in trouble, right? We would be down. So I currently have selected the showing me the USDT value, and in the dollar basically value, we are up. Not much, but we are up. And if I now move it to the Coinbase value, we are down because we sold on the way up a bit of our Ethereum in dollar. And as well, we can see we have good profits. This one is running for 10 hours now. It made 71 rounds, which collected 0.05% in the coin. So this is in Ethereum. If you want to extract the USDT value, or you just can return the Ethereum, depending what your goal are. And you can also see from the trend P&L, we also received a little bit of funding fee because the funding rate is positive. We get every 8 hours, if you're short, we get the funding rate. So it basically means, and currently we would get 0.01% of our short position. Our short position currently is 0.05 Ethereum. So 0.01% of that is what we get assigned every 8 hours. And now if you want to stop the bot, you can select that you either return Ethereum or return USDT. Well, if I would go for Ethereum, it would be bad because then I would be currently in a negative. But I could return it as USDT, which would be more than I initially put in, because I initially put in around $427. And now if I want to extract it, I get back around $442. So it's a bit up on the dollar perspective. Well, you can see here I put initially 441, so we are up $1.30. So it really doesn't matter if it's going up, if it's going down. If it's going up, you get more USDT because you're slowly but surely moving out of your position. You're selling bit by bit, bit by bit. And if it's going down, you're collecting more and more of the coin. And if it's moving sideways, you get arbitrage as well as funding fee. So even if it's doing nothing, you're not getting arbitrage because it's not moving at all, you still would at least collect the funding fee. Risks. What are the risks of this bot? Well, first of all, it's not the most capital efficient because it's a leverage of 1. But the benefit of that is it has no liquidation. So you will not get liquidated at all. So your main risk is basically the evaluation of the coin. So even as it's a hedge, so you normally want to protect yourself against falling prices, or at least in some way participate in some kind of form. So when the price drops, you will get more of your coin, but the devaluation of the coin will be higher than the amount of coins you will get. So it's perfect for me for a coin which I do not mind to accumulate more. But if it's a shit coin, or if it's a position you don't want to hold long term, you might end up holding more at the worst price. I mean, you hold more, so maybe you can offset it and sell it again. But I highly doubt that when the price drops by 20%, you have 20% more token no, you even need more than 20% more tokens. You probably need 30, 40, you need to calculate it by yourself. But the main risk is the dropping of the asset that you put in here. So for me, it's only for XRP, Ethereum and Bitcoin would be the 3 assets where I would be doing that. Maybe also Solana, I don't know. But I would not touch any of the other coins for this hedging bot. The second risk is missed income. If it's pumping, you will not lose money because you're actually slowly moving out of your position. You are collecting more USDT, more USDT and more USDT, like I'm doing now. But other instruments, other bots would be more capital efficient for a pump. So this is for me a bot I will probably keep running for a long time because I don't care what the market is doing. If I would have perfect entries for my long or short positions, I would definitely not touch that bot. I would go for a normal long or short coin and futures grid, not a hedging one. But if you have no idea what the market is doing and still want to participate in some form, this might be a good addition to your toolset. This will not be the only thing I will be doing this bot. I could now put everything in here, but I don't think that's the right approach. I still leave my other ones running, but I just wanted to get you an idea what you can do with it. Alright, how do you create it? Well, this is now on the web platform. So you basically just go to futures, you select coin and futures grid, the perpetual where you want to, so I don't know, let's go for Ethereum. Then you go to hedging, and I would always go to copy strategies. I normally take the first one as a starting point and then customize. What do you need to look out for? Well, first of all, the price range. The price range is basically saying at what range this bot is active. So in my case, for the current example, this bot will be active between 3,000 and 4,727. So active means the range, arbitrage range, where is it selling and buying. This is important in combination with the quantity of grids. So the quantity of grids says how many buy and sell orders, or how should I divide this range in how many steps. So it would now go and divide this 3,000 to 4,700 range into 202 steps and would arbitrage in between. You can see here, this is a profit of 0.14% to 0.24% per trade. And I think you need to play around with it, because you will see that on some assets you need tighter grids, because Bitcoin is normally not moving that much. So you would like to have it probably lower, so meaning that the grids are tighter, so more grids, or a tighter price range, because you also need to understand that your money or your coin you put in is stretched around this position. So if I would put in 202 Ethereum in this bot, each grid would represent only a volume of 1 Ethereum, so the other 201 Ethereum are sitting doing nothing, and it might not make sense. especially with the price range. I, for example, would probably currently go at least to 3,300, and then I would probably remove the quantity of grids to 180. I recommend play around with it, open a board, see how it behaves. You can close it a day later or two, see what it brings, what it holds, and yeah, then you actually the amount you want to invest in here, and then you just hit create and the board is open. Afterwards, or at this point, you can also add a profit, take profit or stop loss, depending on what you want. And for a rule of thumb, Ethereum tends to move a lot more than Bitcoin. So you can take here like 0.1 to 0.2, and Bitcoin I would go less. The offset, or the trade-off in this case, is the tighter the range, so the narrower the columns or the grids are, the more often you pay trading fees, because each of those trades incurs trading fees. So this is always that's why I normally don't like the normal Bitcoin mCoin futures bot, because Bitcoin is not moving that much, so you do not have that many arbitrage trades. But when I go a long bot, I have still to pay the funding fee, and if it's not even collecting the funding fee, normally it is, but you will need to have tighter range. On Ethereum, which is normally a lot more volatile, you have a lot more action going on, you have a lot more movement going on, you see a lot more arbitrage trades. But you need to play around, see what you like. When you have it open, you can go to the bot and see on placed how much apart the grids are to get a feeling. So for example, the lower end of this grid is currently at 4,284 and the higher end is at 4,302, meaning it would buy more when it drops below 4,284, and it sells more when it passes 4,300. So I really like that bot so far, because you don't have to have any clue. I mean, if you're absolutely wanting to accumulate the coin, that may be the wrong bot, because if it's still pumping, you will sell the coin. So then you might just use, like I do with my XRP, use a coin and futures grid which is just long, and then you can move to a higher leverage. But if you have no clue at all and want just to get basically some interest, this is the way to go for me currently. And I will keep you posted on that one. If you are interested in more bots, you can, for example, watch my videos about the Ethereum Bitcoin futures moonbot, which is also called the Bitcoin growth bot here on Pionex, which makes me around 10% alone on the grids each month in Bitcoin, which is from the amount I invested initially, which is great. So if you have any questions regarding these bots, leave them in the comments. I try to answer them. I played around with a couple of them already. And there are plenty of other bots you can explore and discover. Maybe the DCA bot would be the one for you, or whatever floats your boat. You can do the same as well on the spot market, where I also have spot bots, which you can also trade some leverage if you want to. So you avoid funding fees, you avoid liquidation. So if you're interested in this, let me know. So I will make a video about that. And so far, so good. All right, until next time.